Tonight I'm with Prince and Joy. Joy, how old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
How long have you been out here in the streets of Phoenix?
I've been on and off out here for about 4 to 5 years. Came out here when I was 16 years old. No experience with ghetto, fresh out of college. Fresh 27th Ave and Northern Street meet, basically.
And at that young age, how did you end up on the street? What happened?
Basically, doing high school and college and whatnot, and I grew up with a lot of domestic violence, you know. Well, my mom's husband at the time, he was a recovered addict, but he started using again. I assumed due to like a stressful marriage, and at one point he even tried to kill himself. Well, I hated this dude, okay, I'm not even gonna lie. Like I've plotted on him a few times, but with that being said, he does have a beautiful little child. Her name's Sayuri, and I love her to death. And so, this dude I hated, I ended up going to the hospital in tears over, like, how could you be so selfish, you know? And I was like, I'll be aside, just talk to me, you know? I can't be the one to tell Sayuri that he's dead, I just can't. And we ended up talking and whatnot, and he revealed to me that he was doing meth, or people on the streets, we call it G. And out of curiosity, I tried, and obviously that created a lot of tension between my mother and I. My siblings don't because of other reasons, and I kind of just mentally snapped and left on my own. I felt like I was causing too much family problems, and that my family would kind of just be better off with me to the side, you know?
Does your family know that you're out here in the street?
Yeah, and I'll give them credit as far as like they've tried to replenish like on their end, but I just feel like certain things went to an extent that it never should have even went to, you know what I'm saying? So I personally don't know how to forgive that, like, and I want to, but I'm also feeling it because I'm pushing them to a point, to a same kind of mental point, you know? So.
How many pills do you smoke per day?
On a good day, like 20 to 30.
What's the most you've ever done in one day?
70, something around there.
I've asked some people like, hey, why 100? Why not 150? And they said, oh, I would love to do 150, but I didn't have any money to do 150. Does that apply to you?
I mean, yes and no. I guess it's circumstantially, because I don't wake up thinking like, how can I break my pockets even more than they're already broken today by any means. And I've also come to a realization that I've gotten to a point where I've never really wanted to get to. Not that anybody wakes up and is like, I think I'm gonna try some fentanyl today, or I think I'm gonna try some crystal today by any means, but having a tolerance you can't exactly afford is something else. I don't even know if I can articulate it as needed, you know?
How much do you pay for each pill?
$1. At most $2. Some people charge like $3 out here, but I'm a white girl with a puppy. It doesn't get much better than that, you know? So personally, I refuse to pay more than $2, whether I'm buying in bulk or not.
And have you noticed that the prices dropped dramatically from
yeah.
a year ago, 2 years ago?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's both. For those that sling pills, it's kind of bad because there's not near as much money in it as there was, you know?
So it's less profit for the people that are selling it?
Definitely less profit, especially for if they smoke them. But as far as smoking them, it's good because, I don't know about you, but I'm living La Vida Broca, so.
And why do you think it's bad?
Really because the whole profit thing.
Yeah.
But I mean also because, I mean, Back when it was just heroin, like, it was, I never got on heroin prior. The blues is my first as far as opiates, but back when it was just heroin, you had to have at least $10 to get your fix. I mean, being a regular user, that is. I mean, otherwise you're first timer and whatnot, but yeah, it's at least $10 to get your fix. But now part of the reason we see, like, it's a wider variety on these people on pills now, because I don't know if anybody notices, but it is not just your stereotypical group of people that are on these pills, but it's your doctors, it's your lawyers, it's your teachers, it's your soccer moms. It's really put forth a way wider grab to people, especially those you wouldn't even guess. And between that and COVID, I mean, people, once they start these, it's hard. And COVID, and then, you know, especially if you were doing the pills, like, you really lost out. Like, COVID wasn't the only reason for a bunch of homelessness. I promise you, it's these pills too. One thing I can tell you is that for the first couple years of me being out here, I only did G. I was shooting it and smoking it, and I talked to a bunch of about those that did opiates. I really didn't understand it. I remember I was at a bus stop and this dude came up to me like, "Excuse me, miss, I'm sorry to bother you." Didn't even know him. He's like, "I'm so sick. Like, can you please help me out with $1 or $2?" I didn't really know what the dope sickness looked like. And matter of fact, I actually thought that dope sickness was a thing that opiates came up with as an excuse to get freebies. So the only thing I'm thinking is, this dude just played me right now. Hell nah. I pulled like $2-3 out of my pocket and handed it to the dude next to him. I remember the first time I got sick, I looked back at that very moment, I was like, what did I do? I felt really bad.
What's the youngest person you've ever seen out here in the streets?
Seen like 14 years old, but I've heard of 12-year-olds being out here. And I don't know, I've suspected quite a few people being no older than 12 to 15 years old because of how they look and, you know, just their mental maturity. Not that really anybody here has had the opportunity they've had the opportunity, but hasn't grasped the ability to apply maturing in life. Dude, you know, a lot of people out here are, you know, fresh out of prison or jail, or at least done time, you know. But with that being said, it's hard to even gauge that though, because I have a young face and I have a very young voice, so people, I'm sure, thought the same thing about me too.
Speaking of that, you obviously have a youthful look to yourself. Don't you think it's like puts you in danger and harm's way, because there's people that don't have good intentions?
Yeah. Especially because if anyone's been paying attention, they'll notice that Phoenix actually isn't number 1 for the human trafficking. It's actually Glendale now. And as unfortunate as it is to say, their target is, well, I'm basically the ideal target. I'm a small, petite, white girl, you know, and that's what they go for. Thing is though, like, I'm not stupid, not to say that I don't have a lot more to learn, but I'm book smart, and that's an education these people out here can't afford, and I'm street smart, and that's an education money can't buy. That's the way I see it. So I avoid walking alone at all costs. Not to say that that's like fail-proof or whatever, but I definitely do take precautions to ensure that I don't get wrapped up in that. With that being said, though, I have had a few scares of, you know, having to run quite a few times from, you know, dudes in truck, and I've almost been kidnapped a few times. My first year or two being out here, I have been held hostage for like 3-4 days. That wasn't due to a human trafficking thing, but by the end of it, had I not been able to escape, I was gonna end up in a desert.
Isn't that scary? Doesn't that scare you?
I mean,
I'm sure you've been around people that are no longer with us because they've passed away.
yeah. I mean, sure, it's intimidating. The ODing part, I know everybody probably thinks, oh, that's not gonna happen to me, you know, but I, for some reason, have this crazy tolerance, and I know that there's this, I've heard of this newer drug, it'll show up like darker blue dots in the pills that is like 10 times more potent than fentanyl, apparently. But, I don't know, I've never really even gotten close to ODing. My tolerance is as high as it is because you don't really ever catch me nodding, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can smoke like 10 pills at once on a tray, and everyone's over here like surfing basically. Like, I do this number because I have restless leg syndrome, but basically surfing, kind of, you know, doing this, and I'm just over here like, so no one wants to conversate? Cool. But, and it's not that I don't want to do better with my life. It's not that at all. I'm not going to sit here and come up with excuses because at the end of the day, I'm mature enough to acknowledge that I've been out here on and off for almost 5 years. So I can't sit here and tell you. I'm not going to, well, I can, but I'm not just going to sit here and blow smoke up on you and just say that, oh, that not once in these on and off 5 years have I had any opportunity to do something better for myself, because that'd be a lie. But with blues, it's something different, you know. It's funny that people would tell me something like mind over matter, but it's easy to pass judgment on a lifestyle you don't understand. And when you're on blues, when you're on something that like dominating on your mind, telling an addict mind over matter is horrible, because the only thing on their mind is blues and nothing else matters.
Right. My last question, Joy. What advice would you give to young people, a young Joy that's at home right now, 13, 14, 15? She's a little rebellious, not listening to parents. There's these there's Skittles. You guys call them Skittles now, right? There's different colored fentanyl pills.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody presents those to her. What advice would you give to young people?
Let's see. I don't want to come out with something like, oh, you know, like just something cliche that your parents probably already told you, but it's, first of all, definitely don't pick it up because of peer pressure or to look cool. Don't pick it up at all, really, if what I'm saying is relevant to you or at least matters to you in the slightest. But the whole thing they say of like you pick it up once and you're kind of fucked. It's really no joke. You know, I wouldn't quite say like G is like that or really any other drug, but these blues are a whole new category of something else. And honestly, let me tell you about my most heartbreaking experience with somebody that wanted to try for the first time. Okay, it doesn't matter your size, it doesn't matter how big you are, it doesn't matter on how many of this drug you've done, whatever. There's this OG over on, he's on Peoria and 27th. There's this black dude in a wheelchair, and I'm with some friends, we're talking, smoking, and now he rolls up all happy. Guys, I bought my first blue. Me and my friend, we looked at each other. He's dealt with a bunch of overdoses, me not so much. I've always come like right after, you know, like right when people are resuscitating him, but I've never, up until this moment, I've never been there for like the actual fallout. And he's kind of has some PTSD with reviving a lot of people, so I was like, I'm gonna have to tell him, right? And he's like, yeah, please, OG, like, you don't want to do this, man. Like, you know, it may seem cool, or especially those who have no consideration or care for themselves definitely don't for you. And in a way, we kind of envy you because you don't have to rely or pay to feel normal, or you don't have something so overpowering that you feel like you can't live without. Like, really, you're the cool one in this circle. And tried talking him out of it. He wasn't budging, so finally I was like, all right, if you're going to do it, let me help you with it. And I was going to try and monitor his intake, you know. Plus, there's a hand-eye coordination you kind of have to learn, letting it under the foil and whatnot. And takes one hit, and he goes, ooh, I like that. And I was like, damn. And I didn't even know what to do, and he's like, edge on me for another hit, and I'm kind of stalling. I'm like, hold on, my dog needs water. Hold on, let me put my stuff away. Hold on, this, hold on, that, right? I was like, only one hit later, 5-10 minutes. Come on, would you like slow it down, you know? And finally, about 5-6 minutes go by, I give him another hit, and then he grabs himself because I wasn't gonna give him another hit again. Takes that one hit, and then he falls out, starts snoring. I didn't really know, you know. I was like, he's snoring. Is he having a good nod? And friend with the trauma of that, she said, he's like, call the ambulance. And I was like, hold on. Shook him, dumped a bunch of water on him, nothing. And finally called the ambulance. Out of all 10 people that were at the bus stop, I was the only one that waited with him until ambulance showed up. Everyone kind of left him for dead. And I hate to say I feel like I contributed to this, but I haven't seen him since. So that really could be you. And I'm just as much of a hypocrite to say this because, not that I'm invincible, but I don't feel like it could be me just because I've never overdosed. But there is a first for everything, and we do not know what we're getting every time we buy it.
Joy, that's really good advice, and that advice is going to help save somebody's life. The whole purpose of my channel is prevention through awareness, and you just highlighted why they shouldn't touch it to begin with, okay? So thank you very much for talking to me, sharing your story, and I think you're very intelligent. I think you have so much potential, and I'm hoping that one day soon you go to treatment, get clean, go back to college, and just go live the life that you deserve, okay? So I'm gonna give you my card with my number so you can call me if you need a ride to treatment, if you need somebody to talk to. You're not alone, okay? You matter, and you just deserve the world, okay? So Joy, thank you very much. Stay safe. God bless you, okay?
Thank you.